Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Nico Tortorella, and I am hanging out with Galaxy at Comic-Con Radio.
It's called Monument Day because we are all monuments to the past. My dad is off laying the groundwork to change the world. To someday, far in the future, get us back to where we were. It may take generations to regain the level of sophistication our science will need, but my father has started the journey for us all.
There are 9,671 people here. This is your life. You have to have seen enough to know what that means.
The city's like 10 times bigger and cooler than this place. It's all gonna be gone by the time I'm old enough to decide to go see it by myself. We're gonna be gone.
We are the masters of our fate! How do we form our fate?
You really think the world's gonna end?
You didn't want Dad to go, but he went, and now he may be in trouble.
If we get there, what's gonna happen?
If we get there, we'll be different. We'll be ready.
I came out here to see what the world is, start to finish. I don't intend to finish before I start.
You should be scared every time. Every single time that you are outside those walls.
I need to make my life count. It's all I can do. Really, it's all any of us can do. We are the endlings.
So, that's what you get.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy for another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Today we have a very cool guest. They are kicking the airwaves. They're going to be in a new TV series along the Walking Dead franchise. It's something called The World Beyond. Today we have Nico Tortorella on Comic-Con Radio. Nico, what's up?
What's going on, Galaxy? That's quite the intro. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Do you not love that? Aren't I a cool dude?
You are. You are a cool dude. Honestly, it's refreshing to hear this type of energy we brought to the radio and to an interview. You know, the world is on fire, but we can still be lit. You know what I mean?
Yes. And you are an advocate. You wear your life on your sleeve, and that is refreshing. And
totally.
Your fabulous wedding, a crown, all white. Wow. Fitness guru.
Yeah.
All that. You're looking cut. We remember you, but now something different. How did that all change? What's going on?
Well, I think we are all always transitioning and changing, becoming new people every single day. I think we are seeing that as the universe is unfolding in the ways that it is right now. You know, we have to constantly evolve as beings. And my journey has been just that, you know. I started off in this industry, 10, 12 years ago on ABC Family and the CW and, have been on television pretty consistently for the last 12 years. And I've really gotten to a place where, you know, I can just totally be myself, and really like pick that apart. What does it mean to actually be yourself in a world that is focused on having eyes on you, right? In my position, and really in any of our positions. And I think as my career and my life has progressed in the last 10, 12 years, you know, the social media revolution has exploded, right? And we are finally allowed to see artists, actors, musicians, singers across the board as real human beings outside of their craft, right? And that wall between who they are, who we are on television versus who we are in real life is a lot thinner. And I've just been really fascinated by how we identify, how we present, how we express ourselves, where we came from, what it means, why certain love and certain identity is accepted and others are not, why it's actually illegal in parts of the world, you know, to just fucking be yourself. And it's part of my mission. It's part of why I'm here. And I approach it all from a love-based art more than anything. You know, I like to say that I'm a performance artist. I think we all are in our own right. We are all constantly performing versions of ourselves for other people, whether they're appealing or not, you know. And I'm just trying to do my part, Galaxy.
Just trying to do your part. That's extremely fabulous. You know, we're noticing it more and more. We're noticing more people in your position expressing themselves, their true identity, their true selves. You know, in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Lachlan Watson does that as well. And it's fabulous to see. You're seeing it more and more in superhero shows, Batwoman, Black Lightning. It's amazing. It's amazing to see that. So you are in this position. And, you know, you're an advocate and you want to tell the world, hey, this is how it's got to be. You are traditional and you're non-traditional. That's really cool to see. Do you want more and more people to express that as well? Or you think it's hard to start doing that in any way you like?
Yeah, I mean, I want people to express themselves in any which way that they could imagine, as long as it's not hurting anyone around them, you know, or themselves for that matter. I think that we are living in a time where it is getting more acceptable, but, you know, in still a lot of places in this country and around the world, like, it's still somewhat dangerous to totally be yourself. So my first piece of advice is safety first. Make sure that you are in a space and an environment that your health and wellness will not be jeopardized for living your truest colors, right? And then my second piece of advice would be, if you are in that position, figure out a way out, you know, like, there are so many incredible places all across the world where living your truth is cherished and celebrated. And I'm just kind of in this place like, yo, it's 2020. If you're not doing it, like, who else is, right?
That's right.
Being everyone else is like, is already taken. Like, you just got to be yourself, and it doesn't need to look like anybody else. You don't need to try and look like someone else or behave like someone else or identify as someone else. Just figure it out on your own. And I think the most important thing is it doesn't have to be one thing for the rest of your life. We are all multidimensional, dynamic beings, you know, and we can ebb and flow and bend and shift and constantly just try to figure it out, you know? I think that we have been, as a society and as a culture, we've been so dead set on fixing ourselves as one or the other. And that's my biggest problem with the binary just in general. Man or woman, Republican or Democrat, you know, gay or straight. There is vast space between all of those ends of spectrums that are worthy of play. Figure it out. Get dirty.
Right. Yeah.
Get confused.
That's right. You got to say who you are and be who you are. You're right. It's vast. It's a vast universe out there. You could be anything you want. You can't be put into a lane because someone wants you to be or they're expressed that way. That's cool. That's very, 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 very cool. But how is it with co-stars, directors, producers, showrunners? Is everybody accepting or was it a little hard or it's easier now because, you know, who you are? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's been great. I think that I'm not super militant about who I am and where I belong. I demand a certain respect, but I also understand that there There is a grace period in understanding new language and identity. I'm not here to just like educate everyone across the board, but if the intention is right, I'm down to have a conversation. I think ultimately I have a lot more privilege in these conversations than a lot of other people do because of the way that I present and the way that I look and the color of my skin. And I am using all of those things to try to help leverage the voices of more marginalized people, right?
Wow. Amazing. That's amazing. You're doing wonderful. I remember you from Scream. I remember you from Odd Thomas. And I remember you in Younger. So from those, you weren't like fandom related things, Scream, huge fanatic following. Odd Thomas, very cool movie. I don't care what anybody says. I really digged it a lot. Then into Younger.
Me too.
Right? Then into Younger. And now The Walking Dead. How cool is that? How was it? The
greatest franchise of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of The Walking Dead? Were you like a serial viewer? Were you like, does it bleed in your veins? And then you got on the show. How was it for you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the first season of The Walking Dead is one of the greatest seasons of television ever made. And I was pretty diehard for the first 5-6 seasons. There's so much television on now. It's kind of hard to keep up with everything. I had actually auditioned for Fear the Walking Dead, didn't get cast, and then got bitter and didn't watch any of it. And now that I got cast in this third installment, Worlds Beyond, I definitely have gone back and watched the rest of the first season and, just have been trying to tap into this giant universe. It's been such a privilege being part of this show, even to the extent that I have been, and it hasn't even come out yet, right? The fans of this universe are so incredible. The fandom across the entire world, the people that I have reaching out to me. The show hasn't even come out yet, Galaxy, and we're already having these big, huge conversations. And I got to tell you, I've seen a couple episodes. It is really good. Really, really good. It's unlike anything we've seen come out of the Walking Dead universe. And, I made the analogy on Talking Dead last week. When we're watching Fear and the original, it kind of seems like we're dealing with smaller communities around the Americas, smaller organizations, maybe cults of people, right? It seems like local news. And immediately when we start The Worlds Beyond, we are dealing with national news. We are dealing with lots of helicopters. We are dealing with huge cities. We are dealing with the CRM. We are dealing with, these institutions that are basically running the Americas. And very little is known about them in the Walking Dead universe. This show is really our first glimpse into who they are, where they came from, and what it all actually means.
I like hearing you talk about it because you probably know so much, and I can hear it in your voice, and that's why I'm like silent. I'm like, are they gonna leak something? Is it gonna happen? Is it coming out of their mouth? Here's the thing. I want you to keep talking about it.
Go ahead. I'm not about to tell you where Rick is per se, but let's just say.
Did you just say Rick? Did you just say? There's millions of people right now going crazy. That's listening right now. They're going crazy right now.
All right. Well, that's all I'm going to say then. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say.
My producer just jumped up on his chair. His eyes opened up. He is a Walking Dead fanatic. His eyes opened 10 inches wide. Nico just say Rick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they did. They said it. Nico said it. That's right. It's The Walking Dead. Rick, we're not going to say where he's at, but he's somewhere. So you're in the future. This is like a decade into what happened. The world has went to shambles. The people that are basically growing up in this, all they know is a zombie apocalypse, and they're living it. So what is your character? Who is your character, and what are you about?
Yeah, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. For the most part, yes, you are correct. 10 years post-apocalypse. But the majority of our characters have all been living in a self-contained community that has been totally protected for the last 10 years. So yes, we do know that the zombie apocalypse is outside of our walls, but the majority of us, not necessarily Felix, but the majority of the characters on our show have never experienced life outside of the walls. And this entire show is about a younger generation of people who are going to experience life beyond, a world beyond, for the first time. And Felix is smack dab in the middle of that. In so many ways, Felix is the protector of our crew, of our cast. He very much so plays like the father figure once we really get up and running. The two girls, Iris and Hope, are very much so Felix's chosen family. Long story short, some history on Felix. Felix was basically excommunicated from his own house, thrown out by his parents because of who he was, because of his sexuality. And he was living on the streets for a while, and the girl's father, Iris and Hope, their father, basically took Felix under his wing, pseudo-adopted him, and they've been all living together at the university for the last 10 years. So Felix definitely feels like he is indebted to the girl's father, right? He owes him and the girls everything because they gave him a life beyond what he knew. They took him in. And post-apocalypse, family is arguably the most important thing. Family and community. I mean, even pre-apocalypse, right? A sense of belonging and a sense of the ability to take care of someone and something for a greater good. The ability to leave legacy. Felix is the head of security detail at the university, along with Huck, who is played by Annette Menhandrew. And Felix has been teaching the kids for years how to fight, how to deal with the zombie and empty, as we call them, if they ever were to see one. And ultimately, this is a show about truly living.
So the cast that's living in this city that's been closed off from the world, they've never seen a zombie. Have they ever killed a zombie? Have they ever even touched one? Or they've just been locked away?
No, I mean, they've seen them. They know that they exist, and if anyone dies inside of the community, obviously they turn as well. And there are regulations on dealing with community members that have turned or are in the process of turning. The majority of them have never killed a walker because they've never had to. Felix definitely has. Huck definitely has. Because we're the older, more established people.
You're basically the badasses of it. So.
I mean, Felix is basically the Rick Grimes of this show. Let's be honest, Galaxy.
Wow, there you go. That's a way to never get fired. We can't wait to see you 10 seasons from now, and then Madison Square Garden full of people cries over you.
They know.
Wow. Well, you just got to look at the cast. Yourself and Julia Ormond. That's just selling
legend.
The whole thing right there. That's it.
Totally.
Done.
She is unbelievable. Her presence alone, just on set and on camera especially, she is such a force. It's been so incredible working with her.
I love how the show is taking all these new fresh faces that's probably been seen here and there, and then they throw you in there and they throw Julia Ormond in there, and then boom, they have this new TV series that everybody's psyched about because, of course, the franchise is well known, yes, and everybody's edging to see if Rick's going to appear in there, which we don't know. That's why I can't wait to get showrunners on, because we could squeeze the showrunners with a data. I know you're saying what you can. I get guests sometimes on the show, and I start talking to them. They're like, Galaxy, my showrunner said to not fall for your tricks because you're going to try to squeeze stuff out of me. And sometimes they spill the beans, but I never air it. It's okay. You can tell me. So that's the show. Wow. So filming it, being on set, was it amazing to you?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty incredible just how massive the universe is, how large the scope is, but also how small and intimate the shooting feels. In a lot of ways, it feels like we're shooting a gritty indie with a massive budget, and huge scale. It's kind of this weird mix between two genres of filmmaking being on set. But just the history in this universe alone, we have people that have been part of this world for 10 years since the beginning on set, making sure it looks a certain way, and it feels a certain way, and the walkers are walking a certain way, and that we are keeping in line with the rules of the universe, you know? So there's just like a history here. Not that different from, like, honestly, what it felt like walking into the Scream franchise, you know? They have been working on those movies for pretty much the same time, 10 years, until I got in there. And it almost felt like a fraternity or a sorority that she was stepping into that had been established and knew each other forever, and they were coming back for some type of reunion. It kind of was similar to this.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. Especially, I chat with some people sometimes, and they go on shows in the 4th or 5th season, and then all the actors, they're friends and buddies, and they have, like, you know, board game night at their house, and then you come in. But, you know, some casts are tight as thieves, but they welcome you so well. But here's the thing. Even though the production and people involved have been part of, you know, the Walking Dead universe for a decade, or what was that, 10, 11 years now, this is still a new show. You are beginning it. You are that beginning cast that's going to be tight-knit. And then when people start coming in, you guys have to take that role. So are you the person that's going to be welcoming them and always making them feel comfortable because you are the Rick Grimes of the world beyond?
I mean, we'll see. Like, we'll see. I'm just excited for
You're
the
giggling.
show.
Why are you giggling? I need to know.
I mean, honestly, I'm just excited for the show to come out and for people to really just start being able to digest this material and to get a glimpse of a whole new piece of the world. You know what I mean?
Is this the largest budget TV series you've ever worked on?
A television series, yeah, I would say so. I mean, The Following had a pretty massive budget, too. Let's not forget the Kevin Bacon serial killer show, you know? That was also network television. But, yeah, I mean, I would say definitely, yeah.
This is the biggest. And you guys are shooting on location. Everyone's shooting on location in some mysterious parts of the country where nobody can know yet. Now, did they build a city like Game of Thrones? They actually build a city in Ireland, and they film there. Did you guys build a city, or was this some, you know, deteriorating city already that everybody just went into and just created the world beyond?
No, it's no secret that we were filming in Richmond, Virginia, in and around Richmond, Virginia, and it was kind of a mix between the two. I mean, we built a lot of sets, we did a lot on stages, and obviously a lot of exteriors, all over Virginia, really, just in general. So, I mean...
Oh, of course. I say that because there's a lot of new studios in Virginia, Atlanta. There's so many big studios opening up all over the country outside of, you know, Canada, you know, things like that. So that's why I was wondering, because a lot of times TV shows and movies do go to cities that never made it or got ruined, and then they go in there and they liven it up and bring in this breath of fresh air. Now, when you were filming, were there like onlookers? Were there fans like at the, you know, stopping and waiting for you guys to walk into like a restaurant or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while. We spend a lot of time shooting on a college campus, and, you know, college kids, they have to make sure you're still making a massive film set in the middle of their school. But, I mean, a lot of the locations were super remote and removed from the world, as you can imagine, shooting The Walking Dead. So I can imagine that, like, the second season, after the show has come out, there'll be a lot more of that. But for the most part, first season, we were pretty well protected.
Nice.
It was still kind of a secret what we were doing.
Nico, do you believe in ghosts?
Yes, sir. Of course. Absolutely, I believe in ghosts. Yeah, I believe in spirits, ghosts, apparitions, all of the above.
Well, with that said, Nico, you've been wonderful to have on the show. I got to get you back on the show. I know you're busy. You got to run. You're a busy person. Yeah. With that said, is there anything you want to tell the fans before we sign out?
April 12th, 2020. Hey, you know, it's scary out there. We got all of this corona, widespread panic. But listen, without the fear of epidemics, The Walking Dead would not exist. There's a reason this is happening. There's medicine in it, and I want you to look at your own lives and the people that are around you and the things that you do, and remember not to take them for granted, okay? This is a very, very special time, and leave with love. All of it is you. That's it, Galaxy.
There you go. Well, ladies and gems, thank you so much for coming on another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today was an amazing episode with Nico. And with that said, we forgot to blow our kisses. We're rushing it so fast. We got to blow 1 billion kisses. Are you ready, Nico? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
1 billion kisses to the universe. There you go. That's Nico's kisses to everybody. And ladies and gems, peace.
Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media, Instagram at Comic-Con Radio. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Have a lovely
Stay
day.
safe out there.
All right, bye-bye.
Stay